Okay, we'll get started. Here, let me introduce how is your TA, okay? And he's very knowledgeable in Python and all sorts of these computing technologies. We are not having formal discussion sections, okay? So, I know it's like scheduled for Fridays at 4 and 5 p.m., but we're not having formal discussion sections. I'm going to have Hal has to decide what times to hold, some office hours, but he will hold basically. Hal will be your support for questions that you have regarding like you're having trouble getting something installed on your computer, or you have questions about some kind of thing that you're running into. Hal is going to be your support there. You have Piazza, you can ask questions there, and I'll answer, and Hal will also answer on Piazza. So no formal discussion sections, but during the office hours, Hal will be a resource to kind of help you out with all of these different things here, okay? I'm monitoring kind of what's happening on DataCamp and the gradebook, and it seems like people are able to get their scores synced between DataCamp and CCLE. And again, the key is you have to click the link on CCLE and it will send you to DataCamp. But by clicking that link, it establishes some kind of connection between CCLE and DataCamp so that they can send the scores back, okay? If you go directly to DataCamp and you do your stuff, it's not going to be sent to CCLE. So you have to click the link in CCLE and do it. And then I recorded a little video, like if you did the work in DataCamp and it finished and you want the score sent back, you can click the link via CCLE. DataCamp will have you logged in, and it will have all of your progress. And if you just kind of like complete the last exercise, then DataCamp, every time you complete an exercise, DataCamp sends back the score. And so if you just complete the very, very last exercise in the chapter, it will send back, basically your 100% completion thing. Did you have a question?
So you have to log in with the same, your UCLA email for DataCamp?
No, it's it just establishes some kind of like browser session thing. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the same account, although the invitations to your DataCamp Premium was sent to those emails, and I'm not 100% sure. I think it's working for most, but some of you seem to be having issues, and if you're having issues, you can come see me, and we can try to figure out what's going on there, okay? So some of you guys got some practice in with Git, and others of you have yet to do so, and that's okay. Just try to get that taken care of, and so today I want to talk about GitHub. Okay, so on your local machine, you can create a Git repository, and so here I have a repository, and this is kind of like on GitHub, you get like this little mini web page thing called GitHub Pages, and you can put your stuff there. But on your local machine, you have a repository, okay? And so let me just kind of draw a little diagram here. Okay, so you have your local machine, and then you'll have a remote server, okay? And basically, you'll have your kind of your working directory. You'll have the staging area, and then you'll have kind of the repository. And then on the remote server, you have a remote repository. Okay, and the idea here is you kind of make changes, make and save local files, And then what you will do is you use git add, and that puts it in the staging area, okay? And then once you have git add, then you commit them to the repository by doing git commit, okay? And it might feel a tiny bit redundant to have a separate add and a separate commit thing. But what this allows you to do is it allows you to commit the changes piecemeal. So you might have made changes to like several files at the same time in your working directory without forming, doing a formal commit. And so what you can do is you can add one and commit it, add another file and commit them, okay? You can just do git add dot and it will add all of the changes, whether you've added or deleted files, and then you can commit them all together. But that's what we have here, okay? So you've got the staging area and then the commit, and then over here, the remote repository, most likely this is GitHub, you are going to do a git push, okay? And this will go into the remote repository. If you're collaborating with other people, they might also do like a git push, okay? And then somewhere along the way, you'll update your thing, update your local by doing a git pull, okay? So this could be git push from other user. And then you do git pull, and then that will update your local repository, and then you can make changes and whatnot and commit those as well. Okay. Okay, so far we've been kind of working in the local machine, and we've seen, so you can add and you can commit changes and you can create branches and check out older versions and things of that nature. What we want to do is we're going to use GitHub, and you'll need to, if you haven't already, you need to sign up for an account with GitHub. And it's free unless you want like private repositories, and then you have to pay for that. But just sign up for a free thing, okay? And then there's a few things you need to do in order to get your local machine to talk to GitHub, okay? And one of those things is you need to create an SSH identity and passphrase and all of that, and that establishes a secure connection, or basically it lets GitHub know that you are an authorized user to make changes to your GitHub account. They don't want, because all these repositories are public, they don't just want some random person making changes to your repository. So you have to tell GitHub that you have to set up an SSH key and all of that, okay? Here, we'll go to GitHub. Okay, so here's mine, and this is just kind of my repository for my GitHub pages. I didn't set up a theme. I'm just using straight HTML on this one, but anyway, to set up your SSH key, here are kind of two links here. One is for generating a new SSH key, and the other is adding a new SSH key to your account. And these are basically, if you follow these directions, it should get you set up. Okay, so inside you would open up Git Bash, and you just kind of type in these commands exactly as you see them, obviously replacing your email with the email email address associated with your GitHub account, okay? And it's going to create kind of a, an RSA key pair, and then one of these things is you are going to have to, just do this. I think it's okay not to put in a passphrase. You can just leave it empty for no passphrase. Otherwise, every time you're doing a git push and a git pull, you're going to have to type in your password, which can get a little bit tedious. It's a tiny bit risky. If somebody like steals your machine, then you could get in a, and if you don't have a password on your own account, then right. So, but anyway, so you set that up. Follow all of these things. It should give you a thing, and then to add it, after you have your SSH thing, you have to use this. You want to use this command clip, okay? Clip, and you have to copy the public half of the key, all right? So you copy the public half of the key. It's just just type in exactly what you see here, and then when you go over to GitHub, under your accounts, okay, well, under settings, there's going to be a spot where you can enter in that key. Okay, so you go to the SSH and GPG keys, and it will have kind of these things here, right? And you'll enter it. It's going to be this long chunk of text. Okay, you'll enter that in there, and that will be kind of basically the authorized machines that are allowed to make changes to your GitHub account. Okay, so you need to establish that in order to get your machine to talk to your remote repository. So that's an important thing. Okay, and then all right, and so this is kind of the process that it works for pushing things to the remote server. Okay, now an important idea is this concept of the GitHub workflow. Okay, and the key idea for the GitHub workflow is do not mess with master until you know the thing works. Okay, so don't commit any changes to master except for ones that work, right? So master must always be basically public ready or production ready. Okay, so basically do not make any commits to master that don't work. Okay, and so usually, if this path represents master, and along the way you want to make a change, you want to create a branch. Okay, so what you're going to do is, so this is master on GitHub. Okay, and we'll start by kind of like synchronizing your repository. You can you'll clone the repository. Clone the repository to your local machine. Okay, and when you clone a repository, you're not just copying the current state. Okay, you're copying the entire repository. So you're getting everything that's in the repository that's on there, plus its entire Git history. So whatever commits and things have been made, that will also get cloned to your machine. Now, if you're just on your own account and you just created a new repository, then there's not a whole lot there, right? But if you're collaborating with someone else and somebody has a repository established, when you clone it, that thing will, its entire history will come with it, okay? So anyway, you've cloned your repository, and then basically, you want to make some changes. You are going to create a branch. Okay, you create a branch. This is not master, okay? So you make a branch and you check it out, okay? So make a branch, and the command for that is going to be git branch, and you put in the name that you want to, we'll call this just branch name. Okay, and then check out the branch using git checkout and the branch name. All right, and so this should have been already covered. This should be covered in, or it is covered in the DataCamp thing. And if you've done the DataCamp thing, this should at least sound familiar. Okay, so you go through the branch. Okay, then you make commits. And then you open a pull request. Okay, and a pull request basically starts to kind of push these things back to the master, but they're basically whoever owns the GitHub repository is going to serve as a gatekeeper. Okay. Now, if it's just you, then it's gonna be like, oh, of course I want to change this, right? But the idea of GitHub is that multiple people can be working, and so somebody could have created a branch, made some changes, and then they want to merge these changes back into the master branch, okay? And so whoever's in charge of the GitHub repository acts as a gatekeeper, can review the changes that have been made, and if it's good, then they approve the merge, okay? Okay, and then so finally we have a merge. And GitHub actually lets you kind of do this using the web interface, okay? And if you click this thing, the GitHub Hello World, I recommend that you kind of follow this in of itself, and this will get you kind of just a GitHub repository established, okay? Like the public GitHub pages thing set up. And then, so, definitely read through this. Here it says, no coding necessary, and it's true. You can do this entirely with the web interface. So you're going to go through, you're going to set up a new repository at GitHub. Okay, let's see, let me just go to my GitHub account. Okay, so here I'll go ahead and I'll do this. All right, so we'll do a new repository. All right, and so this will be I'll call this class demo, and this will be our in-class demo repository. And this is public. Okay, and sure, we'll initialize with a README, create a repository. Okay, so this is, so here it is, and let's see, in this thing, okay, it wants us to create a branch already, but so here's our readme.whatnot. Okay, so what does this say? It says the diagram shows the create a branch, so we can just do this in class here. And we can just create a new branch. So we'll call this demo branch. let's see. So I'm going to edit this file here. So class demo, in class demo repository, and I'll just say changes made in demo branch. All right, and then we'll go ahead and, oh, here I can just directly commit to the demo branch. I'll commit these changes. So normally on your computer you would have to, you'd save this file, and then you would add the git add and then git commit to the repository, right? So here I'm working on demo branch, and if I go back to master, we will see that yeah, the website's acting a little bit slow, but we'll see that the master branch does not have that change made to the repository. Okay, so we make and commit some changes, then we will open a pull request. Okay, we're going to click new pull request. So this is what you can do just from the online, and what we want to do is we want to do demo branch What's going on here? Okay, so we want to do a pull request. Oh, okay. So this is why we don't do things on the web interface, but it's still a legit way to. This is killing me. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Okay. Oh, all right. Finally. So it says, oh, look, this is the change you've made. And the green things is basically like stuff that has been added, and then if we deleted something, it would show up in red as something that we deleted. Okay, so this is what we want to do, and so I'm going to say, oh yeah, I want to create this pull request, and I will say I added some stuff. Okay, stuff to the README. Okay, and then we'll create this pull request, and because this is my repository. Then I can just do the next phase by myself, and I can just say, oh, this branch has no conflicts with the base branch. That's great. Okay, and then I will go ahead and I will click merge the pull request, and I will confirm this merge, and now my master branch is done. Okay, it says your pull request successfully merged and closed, and now I can go ahead and I can just delete the branch that I created just to kind of do some housekeeping. If I want to keep it, you don't have to delete it, okay? But if like all the changes you've made are good and you've done it, okay, then that's it, okay? And so going back, this is our now master. So we're back on branch master, and here we are, okay? Here, let me see. Let me go to teaching for 131. Okay, so I'm going to create, start a git bash window right here. Let's see. How do I? This looks too tiny. Text. And make this bigger again. Okay, so here we have this, and so let's say we want to bring this into our own local computer. So we've created a repository on GitHub. What we're going to do is we're going to click clone, this clone tool, and we're going to get an address right here, okay? And I'm going to just go ahead and copy this thing, okay? And then and here I'm going to type in the command git clone, and paste the address for this repository here. Okay. Now, again, you need to have your SSH key established. Otherwise, it's going to say no, right? Because well, actually, for cloning it, it's no problem because all of these are public repositories and you can do it. But if you want to like push changes, your SSH needs to be established. Okay. So here it says cloning into class demo. All right. And so now I have class demo right here in my folder, okay? And I can list off or see the things here. And so I'm going to go ahead and change directories to class demo. And when I do that, you'll notice that GitHub recognizes that this has a repository in there, and it puts in master here. And so we are on the master branch in our local directory, right? And so I can just kind of like list off things, and I just have readme.md. And so, I will maybe break the rules a tiny bit, and I will just make a change directly in master, and you can kind of see what we have. So we have in-class demo repository, and then I'll just add another heading and more text. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll save this. And then if I type in git status, okay, we can see we are on branch master. Your branch is up to date with origin/master, okay? Origin is the name that Git gives to the remote repository from which you've cloned, okay? So we created a clone on GitHub, and that the one that's remote, that's called origin, and origin/master means the master repository on that origin thing, okay? And it says, okay, these things haven't been changed, so we will go ahead and do git add, and we're going to do git add readme.md, okay? And if I do git status, then it says the branch is up to date, these things are ready to be committed, so I will go ahead and do git commit with the message added a headline to the readme, all right? Okay, and so this is now up to date, and if I ask for git status, we can see everything is good. And what it says here now, though, is you are on branch master. However, your branch is ahead of origin master by one commit. So we have made a commit on our local device, our local machine, that is not synchronized with origin master, okay? And so right here, if I look at the class demo repository, this would be origin master, because this is the one on GitHub. This one doesn't have any of the changes that I've made, although the website just broke on me, so okay, well, this is unfortunate. Oh, okay, this is like that is no good. Let me just see, do I have internet at all? Okay, well, all right. I don't know if I can I even try a git push here? Okay, so in order to get my changes on the local machine to go onto the origin master, I would run git push, okay? And git push would only work if you have your SSH keys set up, okay? So again, you need to get that set up. And I'm gonna just go ahead and try it. I don't know if I actually have internet. It says could not resolve, so I don't have, okay. I don't have internet. That is no good. All right, let's try this. Okay, please. GitHub. Okay, all right, we're back online. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and, so this is what we have here. Let me try git push again. Okay, so it says counting objects, and it did this, okay, and so now I can check git status, and it says, on branch master, your branch is up to date with origin master. There's nothing to commit, working on the tree clean. And when I refresh this page, we can see that those changes have indeed been pushed. Okay, now that was not following the GitHub flow. It was okay because, I mean, these changes, they're not that big of a deal. But, again, the master rule is that master is only updated with changes that work. So if you need to make changes, so here, wait, let me just kind of give you a resource just so you don't have to like rewatch this whole video. This link down here, GitHub from the command line, this kind of works you through the entire process, and then also the Git handbook. Okay. Something's wrong with my computer. Oh, okay. All right. So the Git handbook also has a lot of these things kind of summarized right here. So this is maybe let me just zoom in here. So this is kind of just a quick rundown of exactly how we want to do. And so you clone the repository, change directories into that repository, and then what we're going to do here is we're going to create a branch, check out the branch, make changes, and stage those and commit them, and then we're going to push those changes to GitHub. Okay. Here it says git push -- set upstream origin my branch. You can also, instead of just doing -- set upstream, you can do -u. And I'm trying to think what the difference is between set upstream and just -u. Is it the same? For GitHub, for git push, -u versus -- set upstream. It's the same. Yeah. I think it's the same. Okay, so you can save a few keystrokes by typing in -u right here. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Is we've got our so here we're again we can just check git status. We are up to date with our remote repository. Okay, and so what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of simulate the GitHub flow. What we're going to do is we're going to create a branch. So I'm going to do git branch, and I'm going to create a branch. So this will be, we'll call this update - read the rm update. No, yeah, readme. Okay, so this will be my branch name. The branch name is update readme, and so I have to check out update readme. Okay, so now I'm switched to branch update readme, and it doesn't look like we've done much, but here I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and I'm going to just make some text files, and so this will be headline number 3, and I don't know, what else do I want to say? Okay, that's it. Okay, that's all, folks. So we'll say that, and then I'll close that. Okay. And if I check git status, it will say these are not yet staged for commit, so I have to add that. Okay, so I'm going to just do git add readme.md, and I'm going to do git commit -m, and this will be updated readme. Okay, so I've committed all of these things, and we can see that we are on the branch update readme this whole time. You can always just check git status, right? And it says you're on branch update readme, nothing to commit, working tree clean. You can make some more changes. Here we can add a file. Okay, this we'll just call this file2.txt, and file2 will just I don't know, some other stuff here, okay? So we put this into file 2, and then we can check git status. Git recognizes that here's a new thing. It says maybe you want to add that. Okay, so we'll just do git add, and you can just do git add, and that will add all of the changes if you put in git add dot. Okay, and so if I do git status, then it says okay, this is the change that's ready to be committed. Okay, if you're not quite sure what's going to happen, you can always ask for git diff. Git diff will tell you the difference between I guess yeah, you have to specify these things here, but okay. I'm gonna just skip that for now, and we'll go to git commit, and I'll just say added file2.txt. Okay. All right, and what I want to do now is I want to push this change to the GitHub repository. So from my local machine, I want to push it to the server. Okay. So again, you need your SSH keys set up. So I'm going to do git push, and you can do -- set upstream, but you can just do -u. And we're going to go from origin, and the branch that we want to push is called update readme. Okay, so we're going to push the changes onto origin because that represents the repository from which we've cloned our local one, and then we're going to push the update readme branch. Okay, so that goes up to GitHub now. Okay, and so if I it already shows up. Okay, and it says basically branch update readme now shows up in the class demo, right? And so here I can see, let me just refresh this. So if I click my branches, I have master, which looks like this, and then if I go to the branch update readme, then we can see I've got the headline number 3 along with the additional file that has been added here. Okay, and so we're on update readme, and we're on master and whatnot. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to create a pull request to push to merge the changes from the branch that we've modified. So we look at this branch and we're happy. Like we went through and we made all these changes, and then finally we have something that works, and we say, okay, this thing works. Let's push this back onto master. Okay, and so we create a pull request, and this will be update readme, and so we'll just say changed the readme and added file 2, and we're going to create this pull request. Okay, and then again, because this is just my own thing, I can approve the merge, but the idea is somebody else can also create a pull request, and you can whoever owns the repository can then approve the pull request. So you will look at this, and it says no conflicts with the base branch, and then you'll go ahead and you'll click merge the pull request, and you'll go ahead and you'll confirm the merge, and then and everything's good. I like to delete the branch because everything, like if everything is good, I'm happy to just get rid of it, but you know, you can leave it there. Okay, and so now if I go back, now we just have the branch master here, and the master has the new file that we've created and all of this stuff. Okay, back on our local machine though, okay, I can see all of this. All right, it says there's nothing to commit and all of this, and I'm still on update readme. Okay, so I can go back and I can do git checkout master. All right, so wait, let me just kind of show you. So this is my working directory right now, because currently I haven't yet hit enter for git checkout master. It has file2.txt and it has the README. Basically, if I open that up, it has what I have in update README. Okay, when I do git checkout master, okay, it switches back to the master here, and I don't. It says we're on branch. Your branch is up to date with origin master. That is not quite right here. Okay, so and you can see that we have the file2.txt no longer exists because I'm back on master on my local machine. Okay, so my local machine has the repository. It has the master. It's got the update update README branch and things like that. And I've switched back to master on my local machine. Okay, what I need to do is I need to synchronize the changes that have happened on the GitHub server. Okay, so the GitHub server, we merged the changes from the update README branch back onto the master branch. Okay, so I've synchronized those changes up on the GitHub server, and now I need to synchronize those changes back onto my machine. So I type in git pull. Okay, so this will pull all of the updates from the remote repository back to my local machine. So when I type in git pull, it says, we've added stuff and made some changes to this, and we've added this thing, and now we can see that my my working directory now has the file 2.txt and all of this. Okay, and I can ask for git status, and we can see that this thing is up to date. Okay, so locally, after you make a pull request and you make those merges on GitHub, on the GitHub server, you then have to synchronize those changes back on your local machine with a git pull. Okay, and one thing also is that if I type in git branch without any kind of names, this will list off the branches that I have. Okay, and I still have the update-readme branch. We have deleted that off of the remote repository. Okay, and it doesn't delete it off of your local one. So if you want to get rid of it on your local one, you can do git branch and then -d for delete, and you can delete the branch that way. Okay, if you want to do that, you don't have to. And then if I do that, then it'll say deleted the branch, and then if I list off branches now, and then we only have master. Okay. Does this process kind of make sense? Okay, the idea of having the remote repository, and then you have your local repository. You make your changes to the local repository, you add, commit, things like that, and then you push those changes to the remote one. Okay, and in the ideal, the GitHub flow is that you'll create a branch. You make all of your changes in the branch. You're working in the branch until you get everything in the branch working exactly the way you want it to work. Once your branch is working exactly that way, you push that branch, or I mean, you can keep pushing things to the thing, but you stay on the branch. But once you get, and you can open a pull request at any time, but finally, after everything is working, then you merge the changes from the branch back onto master. Okay. One thing we didn't get to do in our class, just because I only have my account, is kind of show you how it interacts with multiple users. And so this is, I can't like create a homework assignment for you guys, but kind of a project or an activity that I strongly recommend you guys to do is like find a partner and just see if you can both kind of like work on the same repository on GitHub. Okay, so you'll both kind of create clones of a repository from GitHub, and then one person will commit things and push them. And just kind of for the sake of this activity, you can kind of just see make a commit and push it to master, and then the other person, if they do a pull, they will pull those changes to their machine as well. Okay, and same thing with kind of these different branches there. Okay, we will end here for today, and we'll see you guys on Friday. And we'll start talking, I guess, Python and Anaconda and stuff like that. Okay.